And I thought, well, surely he can throw for 250 or 300 against the sorry Eagles, and he could not. He threw for barely 200, and he turned it over 3 times.
Turnovers killed it.
Just killed him, and all of a sudden I sat back and said, you know what? I'm relieved because the Eagles right now are a little better even than the Cowboys are, which is hard for me to spit out, but it's the truth. They're a little better, and they deserve to be better, and they deserve to be in first place because I told you last week, I don't want my team to back into an NFC crown. It would be fraudulent. It would be counterfeit. I don't want a default division championship. What happened yesterday was they actually got off to a decent start, which I hope they would just seize control. But what happened first? The Browns used a trick play to score the 7-0 touchdown. And I immediately tweeted, Browns, you don't get it. You don't need to run a trick play. Just let Baker throw it to Odell because they can't stop Odell. So why would you use a reverse pass? Why would you let Jarvis sort of leap into it like it was a javelin throw?
He put it on the money too, though.
And he threw it with all of his body and soul is into that throw, and he whipped it as hard as he could, and it hit him right in the hands. It was beautiful.
It was.
And the point was, I sat back and said, you're rubbing it in, man, because we don't deserve a trick play. You can score it any way you want to score it. You can run it. You can let Baker throw it. You don't need to resort to a trick play. But then what happened right away? What happened to my offense? Here comes my offense, and it goes 5 plays, 89 yards, and CD catches his first touchdown pass from 43, 7-7. Right. Then guess what? Voila. It happened one time yesterday. It actually happened 3, but they made Baker punt. And then what happened? Here we come back again, and we go 9 plays, 84 yards. 9 plays, 84 yards. And the one you talked about, that laser right between the 2 DBs, it probably should have been at least knocked down.
Or Amari should have got knocked out.
Okay. And Amari caught it and was gone because there's nobody left. And that was 4th and 2. And all of a sudden it's 14-7. So don't tell me that they laid an egg from the start because they're up 14-7. And then what happens? You detailed it. The next time they have the football, they wait a second. Dak turns it over. He gets strip sacked by Myles Garrett. Not from the blind side, from the eye side. Dak, you can't get strip sacked from the eye side. You know he's over there. You see where 95 lines up. He's obviously very hard to block. And if he's on Terrence Steele, who is an undrafted rookie out of Texas Tech, what do you think's going to happen? Isn't he going to fly across?
And that's why they put him on that side, Skip, because they don't want him against Tyron Smith, so they want him against your weak tackle.
And they were flip-flopping it. Okay, I got it. So, Dak, you just got to watch it and get rid of it or just duck and cover. If he gets you, live to tell about another play. But he gets strip sacked and gives them a short field. It's 34 yards, 4 plays, and all of a sudden it's 21-14. And then here comes Zeke, and he fumbles and gives them a short visit. He gave him 51 yards, and it takes him 6 plays, and all of a sudden it's 28-14. So that brings me to the turnovers. My team is dead last in turnover ratio. What usually happens to the team that's dead last? It usually gets the first pick in the draft. Yep. My team easily could be 0-4. You can argue it should be 0-4 because of the miraculous recovery of the onside kick. They didn't really recover it. Atlanta just didn't recover it, right? Okay, so they could be 0-4. And this defense, Mike Nolan's defense, and I know Mike, you know him a little bit. Okay, he's a really good guy. I love this. I knew his father very well. He used to play golf with his father, Dick Nolan. He used to coach the 49ers and then was a Cowboy assistant for a long time under Tom Landry. But the point is, Mike Nolan hasn't been a defensive coordinator since he was with the Falcons back in 2012 to 2014. Do you realize what those Falcon defenses finished?
Yeah, I do.
24th, 27th, and 32nd and dead last. Those were his last 3 coordinator finishes. Why did he get this job? Because once upon a time, he gave Mike McCarthy a job when he was the head coach in San Francisco and gave him a big jump start in the league. Not that he hadn't already been, he was on the New Orleans staff, but he gave him an opportunity to be a coordinator. And it was a huge deal, so he repaid. It's like cronyism, okay?
Yep.
I don't see any results through 4 games. This is the all-time Dallas defensive humiliation. This is a team that used to have doomsday. Shannon, Do you remember, it was just 2 years ago, 2 playoffs ago, that Russell Wilson and company came to Jerry World with the leading rushing attack in pro football. And that day, they got 73 yards rushing. So under Rod Marinelli, I was missing Rod Marinelli last night. I occasionally saw just sparks and flashes of, that's pretty good, right? And under Mike Nolan, I see deadhead. I see loss. I see effortless. I see. Okay, so in the end, what happens? As usual, I've seen this movie 4 times this year. Desperate Dak takes over. When is he at his greatest? When they are hopelessly behind.
Correct.
Well, that's kind of scary to me. You're hopelessly behind, and you're at your
And
best.
there's no expectations because if you
Okay.
lose, Skip, if you're down with 40 seconds left in the 30, you're down by 27. Nobody's expecting you to come back.
Okay, so here he comes, and he puts on a show in the fourth quarter because that was just spectacular. He threw for what was 254 in the fourth quarter and 3 touchdowns, and all of a sudden I look up and they're down 3. And then what happens? This is bad team football. For some reason, the new kicker, Greg Leg, he decides to try to trick them again. They'd almost tricked him with the squib kick before. And all you need to do is kick it deep.
Right.
You got 3:42 left. See if the defense can come up with a play or two.
Because you had timeout. At 1, I think.
You do.
So, I would agree with you. I was thinking they were going to kick it deep.
Okay, so he tries another weird squib, and they just catch it. Excuse me, and if they catch it, you're in trouble because they're going to get the ball at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, he catch it with a running start.
Okay, so now it's 1st and 10, and they call another trick play. They call a reverse to Odell. And Aldon Smith, who I have raved about, was a no-show yesterday. He had 2 total tackles, no sacks, no pressures. He did you see 58 at all?
No, Skip, can we run this back? Now, this is the Cowboys.
Okay.
Now, I want you to tell me, Skip.
Okay, I'm doing this.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what I saw on this play. Aldon Smith finally stays home and makes a good play.
Right, he makes him bubble.
He makes him bend it way back.
Yes.
Excuse me, he bends it back 20 yards.
Yes.
What usually happens when a reverse gets bent back 20 yards?
Oh, you got the pursuit.
The whole defense is waiting for you.
Yes.
You got time to rally, and you got 8 guys waiting to tackle you.
Yes.
Okay, I saw 5 guys, and I saw nobody really try until Jalen Smith dragged him down, and that was like a horse collar
But
tackle.
here's the thing, though. Look at Jalen Smith in the beginning. Look at Jalen Smith.
Okay.
You tell me Jalen Smith was running at the beginning?
No.
Because if he was running at the beginning, he'd have got it right to cut him off
Thank you.
pass.
Thank you. I agree. That was give up. That was heartless. That was effortless. That was completely unacceptable. I wanted all of them cut the next day just for that play because you got back in the game. And obviously, that just rips your heart out.
Yeah.
What are you doing? So